guys, welcome back to VUDivulged. I'm Elijah Chambers.
I'm Anthony Plakowski. And on today's current events episode, we're going to talk about the tragedy that took place in Russia just a few days ago. But before we do that, we would quickly like to brush upon the Baltimore bridge collapse. On Tuesday, March 26th, a ship had ran into the Baltimore bridge, and that ship, it basically charged like right into one of the supporting pillars. As of now, it is believed that 6 people are dead, but obviously there are still some people who are unaccounted for, because it is believed that about 20 cars went into the water at least. Some people, were apparently walking on the bridge. I believe that a majority of the dead were actually construction workers on the bridge performing regular maintenance. But it was really shocking. I saw the video, and it's this ship, right, massive container ship, like the power was flickering. Like you could see that not all the electrics were working.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, that is they're investigating.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been reports that like 2 days, like when it was at port,
Mm-hmm.
docked, that the power was flickering on and off then too, so...
Maybe did the ship lose power, and then, maybe the current of the river, pushed the ship, because if you have no power, you have no propeller, you have no I don't remember what they're called on ships, but a lot of them have those stabilizing fins that can come out the sides to help prevent the rocking.
I mean, there's that, like I said, there's investigation still ongoing,
Mm-hmm.
but someone's gonna pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, and if you think about it, the city of Baltimore is going to pay for it just a little bit for the time being, because that's a shipping route.
Wow.
And now there's a bridge collapse in the middle of it. That whole port now, or at least that may be method of, maybe there's a second way out of that port. I'm not familiar with the, topography of the area, so maybe, like the river splits into two and this side collapse, I don't know. But either way, that's going to hinder shipping in that area for the time being until, the mess is picked up and the investigation.
And there's motorcade, people going up. I mean, that was
Because,
a bridge.
they're not
That
going to
was a
start.
bridge too, so there's people going back and forth across the city. So
Mhm.
that's gone.
But it really shocked me when it was there was known electrical issues. Could you imagine an airplane taking off the ground just for the pilot to be like, well, yeah, the electrical systems kind of black out
Yeah, there's no
for a few
confidence
moments
in-
every few minutes, but other than that, this plane's all right. I'd like to stay on the ground, thanks.
Yeah, at least you told me before we got on, because I'm walking away now.
Mm-hmm. But with the ship, once it lost power, it is said that the crew was not able to control. Some did say they were able to drop the anchor to try and emergency stop the ship. But anchors aren't like the movies. You don't just drop it in the water, then once it catches the ground, the ship, pulls the chain, and then it stops. I believe it's actually the weight of the chain that keeps the ship in place. The anchor is really just there to, keep it in one spot. It's to grip something. But with a container ship weighing upwards of 200,000 tons, Newton's law says something that massive is not coming to a stop.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watch this video of the ship legitimately slamming into the support pillar of it, but you can kind of see that it took a sharp turn and slammed into it. What they're saying is the crew, that's what caused the ship to take a sharp turn like that into the pillar, because they dropped the anchor and that kind of yanked it.
Oh, it pivoted the ship over there.
Yeah, so
investigation is obviously going to have to take place, and we will, once again, as always, we'll keep our viewers updated with any more news should it come out. But let's move on to the main discussion of today's episode, and that is the terrorist attacks in Moscow. On Friday, March 22nd, there was a major terrorist attack at the Korkus City Hall, which is like a theater shopping area.
Yeah, like a music theater, / the lower floors are all shopping areas. Just like a big mall, kind of.
There were As of now, the death toll is 137, and several hundred people have been injured. And initially, Putin claimed it was Ukraine. It was Ukrainian rebels or sympathizers that conducted this attack, or it was actually the leader of Ukraine had financed this attack. But what was shocking was ISIS claimed responsibility pretty much immediately.
They want credit.
Mm-hmm. Which seems likely, and we'll get to that in a minute, but to be skeptical about that is not out of the norm. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, they've been known to claim for terrorist attacks that they had nothing to do with.
Yeah, but I think what people are kind of shocked about, this is like the first terrorist attack in Russia in like a long time.
At least 10 years.
Like I think the last one was like that school.
It was a school.
That was like 05, I believe.
05, 04.
So this is the first one in years.
I believe it was Basra, I believe. It starts with a B. I remember that. I know what you're talking about. It was rebels had taken over a school, and obviously with it being a school, there were lots of children that were taken hostage, and unfortunately, the Russians lost about 180 children that day. But ISIS has been known to take credit for terrorist attacks in the past. One instance, a small instance that I can think of here in America, is the Pulse nightclub shooting. Mm-hmm. The Pulse nightclub shooter was radicalized through the online propaganda posted by these foreign terrorist organizations, and he shot up the Pulse nightclub and claimed it was for ISIS. But he had never came into contact.
Yeah, he was a homegrown extremist.
He was a homegrown extremist. So on one hand, that is a valid point, but to immediately blame it on Ukraine, I think Putin might have either jumped the gun or knew the truth and.
Yeah. But I mean, this whole situation just. Well, here's the thing, though. The U.S. knew something was going to happen. They even sent this report to all U.S. citizens to the embassy, all U.S. citizens in Russia, even to the Russian officials. Like, I think it was on the 6th of March. Like, stay away from large gatherings.
Yes.
Because they believe there will be an attack.
Because, this is a story for another day, but in short, there was a time where ISIS, mainly Al-Qaeda, didn't know that we could tap into phones, right? And they didn't know how easily we could do that. But then a news media leaked or made a statement, because people don't realize that just as much as we spy on the enemy, they spy on us through what we refer to as open source intelligence, which is, news media, social media post by anybody. It's open source, right? It's not like you had to dig for it. You Google it. But in one post, a reporter had stated, well, we can listen to Al-Qaeda because they don't encrypt their cell phone traffic. Well, Al-Qaeda saw that post and started encrypting their traffic. But America, we have learned for Al-Qaeda and other groups such as ISIS to listen for certain keywords, right, that signal attack. There was actually one time a convoy, a presidential motorcade, and a group of extremists had posted a bomb on a bridge. And one of the vehicles that, in this motorcade is a surveillance, right? They're constantly listening to radio traffic. And they heard the word bridge, and I believe the word marriage, which for that particular group was the code word for attack. So they said, well, clearly there's something about to happen, and it's going to involve a bridge. Well, there's only one bridge on our route. So the presidential motorcade literally turned around and went to follow the backup route. And when they sent investigators and the local police to look at that bridge, they found a bomb strapped to it. So America has great experience in, detecting, hey, something's up, right? We don't know what it is, but we can clearly tell that something's going to happen. And unfortunately, Putin said they did receive the threat warning but he believed it was America trying to blackmail Russia, and he did not take it seriously. Which, with the current climate, that's
but
between our two countries, that is.
But still, though, it's one of those things like we're warning our own citizens about this, and we're warning you. You should probably take this serious. Like
a country we warned a country who, even though we're sending aid to another country who they are fighting, we are still saying, hey, your people are. There's a chance your people are going to be at risk. During the day of the attack, 4 gunmen went into the concert hall area attached to the mall and used AK-47s and other automatic rifles, shooting basically every person that they saw. They also set several fires through incendiary devices such as Molotov cocktails to, 1, burn down the building, and 2, hopefully to trap more people inside.
And then they did escape. They made it out, but I know that Russia did capture
a number
of them.
They captured a few of the gunmen and 11 other co-conspirators, and they have shown them in court.
Yeah.
And Russia, they've done a number on these 4 individuals, and it's, to put it mildly, they've fallen down the stairs quite a number of times.
Yeah, one of them fell down the stairs so bad he lost an ear.
Yeah, and ate it. And, of course, some people are saying, how can Russia do this? Those are prisoners. You need to treat them with dignity and respect. But also, on the other hand, there are others who say those 4 people killed 137 innocent people. Not military. This wasn't a military operation. But those 4 gunmen killed 137 innocent people.
Yeah, that's kind of the back and forth. Like, yeah, don't do that. But most people are like, I don't really feel sympathy either for them, which makes sense. It's hard to really feel sympathy for those guys for the actions that they did of their own volition. So,
for the viewers who don't know who ISIS, their full name is ISIS-K. The group is known as Islamic State in the Khorasan province, which is an Afghanistan
Iraq,
of the central ISIS group in the Middle East. And Khorasan translates to the land of the sun, and it was believed they were responsible for various suicidal bombings at the Kabul airport in 2021 when America was trying to pull out. And no, ISIS is not an ally of the Taliban. A lot of people actually get that mixed up. Everybody thinks that all these terrorist organizations, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and ISIS-K, they all get along. ISIS and the Taliban actually hate each other. Because each one believes they're not. The Taliban wants to enforce Sharia law, but they want to implement their version of it, and ISIS believes that their version is not strict enough.
Also, they also want to establish like caliphates. And each one's like, no, I'm going to establish mine. This one's like, no, I want to establish mine. So there's a lot of infighting on that. But, I mean, in the end of the day, like, I doubt after this court hearing, you're probably never going to see these guys ever again.
We do have the names of the 4 gunmen, but once again, I'm not going to say their names. Me personally, I believe that gives them the publicity they're after. So I personally don't want to say their names. But why are they targeting Russia? Everybody thinks that, well, they fought America, so you think they would be standing with Russia. Well, the Islamic State has targeted Russia for several years now. Various attacks, including the 2015 bombing of a Russian plane and a 2017 bomb attack of the St. Petersburg metro, which killed 17 people. Reasons were Russia destroyed ISIS power base in Syria to install President Bashar al-Assad. Moscow was involved in 2 wars in Muslim-based Chechnya. The Soviet Union tried to take over Afghanistan for 10 years. America, we sent aid to help the Mujahideen, not ISIS, the Taliban, the Mujahideen, which is basically religious warriors.
Yeah.
who then America ended up in there. And that's a conversation for a whole nother day.
But I mean, they
And
actually
the other side is they also just don't like Putin.
Well, actually, they did like push out like an official response. That's how they took credit. And it's like any other thing you expect from these groups is because they're of a different faith. They said our warriors targeted this place because it was a mass gathering of Christians, other people of other faiths. So
Putin has acknowledged that the attack was carried out by Islamic extremists who were fighting for, their ideology, but he does still claim that Ukraine facilitated the attack in some way, shape, or form. We don't know for sure if that's true for right now. As Putin's thrown every excuse as to why his troops are in Ukraine. For the U.S. Response, Kamala Harris completely disregarded Putin's blame of Ukraine and claimed, it's ISIS.
I mean, it's pretty hard to believe Ukraine would do that, mainly because what are you gaining from doing this off the bat? You know what I mean? Just
the U.S. maintains that ISIS-K is responsible for the attack, as ISIS-K released a video message that says the Islamic State was attacking Russian Christians. They released a video as this attack was happening. One of the gunmen claimed to do it, received compensation, roughly $5,600, although this is not that much money. So that's kind of hard to believe. And they didn't appear to be Muslim because they didn't say anything about Allah, and they weren't Shaheed, which are suicide bombers.
I mean, I don't.
This
whole situation. I mean,
This is gonna be a very rough tragedy to cover. As one, right now there's not a whole lot of information, as it took place the other day, and two, Russia's, Putin's been known to lie a lot in regards to, why he's in Ukraine, who these people are, what they're fighting for. So how much will we truly know one day? Maybe since the United States clearly knew that a attack was happening, maybe at one point they released a statement saying that the information they were able to gather. But as always, we will keep our viewers updated.
I mean, one thing I'm curious though is what is going to be Russia's response to this? I think one reason, obviously, Putin turned on Ukraine was to kind of keep the focus there. Don't want to know anything else, kind of gaining more attention here or taking away resources. You know what I mean? They want to focus on Ukraine, not these terrorist organizations. But if they start, stabbing you in the back, you got to do something about it. But I don't know, man.
All right, well, that's all we have time for. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, we will keep you all updated, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
See you guys.